So I just wanted to give you all a little picture or video of our sunchokes, our Jerusalem artichokes. These are the ones that's got the yellow flowers on top. And they're almost ready to be harvested. But we have a mess of them. And they're going to be so good. And really the stalks get very, very tall. As you can see, taller than our porch there. But what will happen is all of the good artichokes, or the sunchokes, are down in the ground, all over back in there. And all of these limbs, or these stalks, once all of these beautiful flowers die out, then the stalks will start dying out. And when they start dying out, then it'll be time that we can dig in the dirt and pick as many as we need out of there, clean them, and eat and cook them. You can also eat them raw. But that'll be for another video. I just wanted to show you how well they're doing. Doing much better than my crop from last year. And these will grow just about anywhere. And they're so drought resistant, it's just not even funny. But they are huge. And they are so pretty. Hey there, and welcome back to Jensmeramecvalleyhome. I'm Jen, of course, and we're still in Instapot mode today, and I'm going to make a recipe today instead of what we did the other day. We did the water test to test my daughter's Duo Nova Instapot, so it did wonderfully. So, and I know a lot of people have already tested these and they use them and everything. I've never used one, so this is kind of like very, very exciting to me, I guess. But, and so my daughter has talked me into purchasing one myself. Okay, so today, like I said, it's all about Instapot recipe, and we're making Instapot Swedish meatballs with noodles. And I can't wait to make this recipe. I think it's going to be great, and I know it's going to be fast, so we're going to make that. I got all my ingredients out. We're ready to go, and all we need to do is just get set up so that we can start on our recipe. Be right back. Okay, so I've got my 1 pound of ground beef here, and to that we're going to be adding some other ingredients, but it's kind of like with meatballs, everybody has their own recipe, so just make it however you like it the best. Whatever seasonings or spices you put into them. And that's what I'm going to do basically. So these will be kind of rough estimates for me, but I will put exact measurement or measures in the description box, so you guys will have an idea of, you know, basically how to make what I just made. All right, so first of all, we're going to, I've got 2.5 cups of water here. I have got another 1/2 cup of water right here. I do have some onion powder. I've got some Italian seasoning. I also have some parsley. I kind of like that in my meatballs. And some Worcestershire sauce. And maybe a little salt and pepper, and that's going to be it. So what we're going to do first, though, is I do have some olive oil in the cooker here. So I will be turning that on to saute here in a few minutes, but we want to make our meatballs up. And I do apologize, but I am going to take my rings off because I do not want to get anything on them. All right, so we're going to start out, first of all, with a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Could be Worcestershire sauce. Everybody has a different way of saying that. So 1 tablespoon. Oh, I love the way that smells, though. All right, so next is going to be our minced garlic. Now, I always just kind of do this. I know that's kind of crude, but I roughly put about 2 teaspoons in. So I do like garlic, but I don't like too much garlic. Now we're going to do a teaspoon of dried parsley. Here, we'll just kind of eyeball that. Okay. We're going to give it a little bit of pink salt, Himalayan pink salt. Okay. And we're also going to give it some black pepper. So let's go ahead and throw some black pepper in there. You know, this is going to be a really good recipe. For those of you who haven't tried it, it's going to be wonderful. Okay, and then we're going to put a teaspoon let's see here. No, I need my onion powder. So we're going to put about a teaspoon or so of that in there. Maybe a half. There we go. You know, it's always just about how you want it to taste. All right, so got my seasonings in there. Now we're going to also put 1 egg. And I make my own breadcrumbs, so we're going to, hello Tippy. We're going to put some breadcrumbs in there. I'd say about a cup is good. Another tip, I do go to Walmart, and you know those racks that they have that have the day-old bread sitting on there. So they mark those down, and I buy those up and I put them in the freezer until I'm ready to make breadcrumbs. And then I just, you know, toast my bread a little bit, just a little bit, and then I, with a little bit of olive oil, and then basically, you know, you can add some garlic powder to that. You can add other seasonings. I usually do Italian seasoning. You can tell I love Italian seasoning, but you can add parsley to it, and I like to add Parmesan cheese to it for these types of occasions when I'm making meatloaf, meatballs. Now see, we're just working this in really good. My cat wants out. And she really isn't supposed to go out. She's just an indoor cat. Okay, so I think that's kind of worked in. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me get something here, just kind of wipe my hands off a little bit. Just so I can move this. I've got a trade-off here. I don't have a lot of room in my kitchen. I wish I did. I just do not. All right. Tippy. No. No. All right, so on our Instapot, as you can see here, I've got my oil in there, and it does have a saute button on it down here, so I'm just going to press that. Did I pull? There we go. It's on now. So give it a second here. Now we're going to hit saute. And it's going to heat up, and we're going to just put that sear on the meatballs. So it's just turned on, and it's heating up. So we'll give it a couple minutes, and we'll make our meatballs and put them in there. Okay, so now we're going to do some meatballs, and you can make them however big you want them. You can make them a little smaller. There we go. Now, I don't like, some people take their hamburger out of the refrigerator before they cook it, and I don't like to do that. I leave mine in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it, just because when you leave it out, it gets a little, you know, even if it's just for a few minutes, it starts getting unworkable. So you've got to make sure that, you know, you've got that coldness, because it's making that meat kind of cinch up there a little bit and stay together a little better. Well, I can hear them sizzling, so they're doing well. Now, of course, these don't have to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect, but I just want to get a little brownness or sear on them. And it's just cooking on normal, so it should do fine. So I'm just going to watch these and kind of make sure that they don't burn. And then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so we've got a nice sear on our meatballs here. And so our next step is going to be putting our water in. So I've got my 2 cups of water here. We need 2.5. So we're going to pour this in. And I also have another half here. And I'm just going to take my bouillon cubes and toss them in there. A couple of them. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to do is I have some noodles here. And it calls for 3 cups of extra broad egg noodles. And these are like the little egg noodle nests. So we're just gonna kind of push them down, but not completely submerge them. Maybe a little bit more over here. A few little extras down in there. Some of these are little bitty broken pieces, but that's okay. We eat those too. All right, so you just kind of want to submerge them a little bit. Don't have to be all the way. All right, so here's what we're going to do next with this recipe. Like I said, the noodles are pressed down in there. That is fine. They don't have to be completely submerged. So now we're going to put our lid on. And as I showed you the other night, there we go. You heard that sound. That means it is locked on. And we're going to do pressure cook. We're going to switch from saute, and we're going to go with pressure cook, and we're going to pressure cook for 3 minutes. Okay, so we're going to do 3 minutes. I did pressure cook, and then you've got a minus and a plus here, and that tells you to go up or down with your time, and it's telling me that it's on. And I can see it's like a little pot with a flame under it. It just means it's heating, it's going to build that pressure. So we're going to cook this for 3 minutes. Once it gets to the point where it's got enough pressure in it, it'll start counting that 3 minutes. So once that's done, we'll do our next step and see how that goes. Okay, so we've went through the countdown now. It is pressure cooked for 3 minutes, and then it clicked off and went to keep warm, and then it did the countdown for 5 minutes automatically. So what we're going to do now is we are going to release this rest of this pressure manually. It was letting it naturally release the pressure, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to release it manually now. And as you can see, there's a lot of steam coming out. Keep your finger down on it and let it just all release. I always tell my cats it's just a noise when they run out of the room when this thing goes off. Poor babies. So it's just almost all the way out. And I just keep my finger on it and let it keep releasing until I don't hear it hissing anymore, or if I can still see steam coming out of it. I don't want to see any steam. See, it's not hissing, but I still see just a tad bit. There we go. All right, I think it's all gone. All right, and the little gauge over here has went back down. It was popped up, but now it's back down. All right, so I think we're ready to open. All right. That makes a lot of steam. Now, you can see the noodles do look cooked. We're just going to give them a little bit of a stir. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add, we're actually going to turn this back over to saute. And I've got some half and half here. And I've got about a tablespoon of cornstarch. And what I should have did was got a bigger bowl. All right, here we go. So we're going to put that in there. Well, that's kind of warming up a little bit. And then let's measure out our half cup here of half and half. And let's just stir this up a little bit here. And then we're going to take and we're going to pour this in there. And we're going to stir that in there, and we're going to let that thicken up just a little bit. We kind of want it to come to that almost a boil. There we go. So we got our saute going. I can already feel and see that it's kind of starting to thicken up a little bit from just the heat of the water, the stock that's already in there. So we're going to let this go and thicken up for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to do the taste test. So that's the best part. So we'll be back. Well, hey, I am just super excited to have this taste test. I really want to see how this turned out. While I was cooking it, I thought, you know, I could have added some mushrooms. That would have been good. If you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to put them in there. But that would have been really good. Other than that, I think this is good. And I did kind of break up one of the meatballs. I didn't really want to eat a whole one right now. But I do want to taste this because I think it's going to be a winner. That really beefy flavor, but the creaminess. And I added, after the pressure cooking stopped, I turned it back on saute and I mixed a tablespoon of cornstarch with a half a cup of half and half. And then I brought that up, as you know, to a boil. And then I turned it off and I stirred it up till it got fairly thickened. So, and it's still just a little bit still cooking. I think I need to maybe give it a little nice stir there. But this is wonderful. That is good stuff right there. And it didn't take very long. Now I made the meatballs from scratch, but you could do this with your frozen meatballs as well. So if you want to save even more time, you can throw the frozen meatballs in there. I just happened to have a package of hamburger and decided I was going to make my own meatballs this way. Either way, you use the same exact recipe as far as cooking in the Instapot. So I will have all of that recipe down in the description box below. And also I will have, of course, my Gmail in case you have any questions or comments, or, something that you just want to ask. You can just email me. And then also give me a thumbs up, like, please share the videos. That's what helps me the most. And I can keep doing these videos. And I have to tell you, I'm really very much novice at this, but as far as cooking, I love to cook. I love to garden. I love all the things of home. And my husband and I have lived here at this house, or at this mobile home now, for 4 years, and we've been slowly renovating it. The kitchen will be next year. Well, it'll either be the kitchen or the bathroom, one of the two. Nothing much wrong with them. It's just it needs updating. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to be doing a video on the progress of my greenhouse from our old shed. We had bought the new shed, and now my husband it's getting a little bit cooler, so he's taking down the old shed and keeping the frame up. So I'll be doing some video of that and the process that's going through, because I'm not going to waste that structure. I'm going to make it work. So at any rate, I thank you for coming and watching me today, and cooking with me, actually, because you're going through the same steps as I am, except I'm actually doing the work for you. So I do love cooking, like I said, and basically I love my home and my family and my God. So you all have a great evening. And as always, please don't let your heart be troubled.